God. Thank you, Lord.
Amen.
Yes, God. Yes, God. Yes, God.
We have Apostle in the house. We're going to let him have a word.
Yes.
If he's in the house, we know he got a word.
Amen.
Amen. Amen. Let's give the man of God another hand. It's not really easy to get up here, as I've said many times before.
That's right.
You know, like he was saying, you know, as soon as the word got to him that he was going to bring a message, you know, then an attack, it immediately happens. For those of us who've been in ministry, doing ministry a while, we know. We know. You could be studying your whole life to bring a message, and then you get to the point to where you're like, wait a minute, I've just been attacked. I've been attacked. And that was very powerful. Pressure words. I mean, that was phenomenal. If you didn't get that in the spirit, if you didn't get that in the natural, I don't get it. Because I'm always reminded, you know, with acupuncture, you know, and you have a pain here and they're sticking you here. It threw me way off. For the life of me, it threw me way off. I mean, I got a pain here, but you stabbing me here. And the reality of it is that sometimes you have to trust that the individual that God has given that information to, it's right.
It's right.
It's right. It is right. And that was very, very phenomenal. It was very on time, because I remember throughout the week, we've been dealing with the root. We really been dealing with the root of things. And as he was saying, I don't want to go over the message, because that's what I've been dealing with the whole week, for about a month. It's the root of things. You know, and I was using the antitype in the shadow of a toothache. And lots of times we take pills, you know, and that deals with the mind, but it don't really deal with the root. It really don't. It really don't. It tells the mind not to respond to the pain.
Right.
That's what a pill does. It tells the mind not to respond to the pain. That's what it does. But it doesn't deal with the root. Because eventually what happens is that the root, it gets infected.
That's right.
If you don't deal with the root,
Right.
we're going to have to always in life, no matter what, deal with the root.
Yes.
You can come to these services all day, all night, shout, dance, scream, but if you don't deal with the root of that thing, the root of why you're crying, the root of why you always up here, the root of why you always getting fired, the root of why you always in the mindset that you are in, the root of it. Regardless if you come here and get happy and you sing and shout and you dance, you're going to always have to deal with that root on why you are frustrated. Because with the toothache, if you don't deal with the root, it gets infected. And then once it gets infected, that infection goes all throughout your bloodstream.
Yes, it does.
And it causes things to hurt on you that ain't got no business hurting. That's what an infection does. It causes you to sweat.
Right.
It causes, if you ain't never had a tooth infection or toothache, I promise you that's like one of the worst things that you can possibly have. It have your knees hurting. It have you wanting to beat your head on the wall. All because you decided not to deal with the root of the situation and it got infected.
That's good.
And it traveled in places that it shouldn't have traveled. And now all of a sudden it traveled to your house. It traveled to your job. It traveled to your school. And it'll even travel to your kids if you don't deal with it.
Say that.
And a lot of people are suffering from an infection that if they would have dealt with the root, that's why they call it a what? A root canal. That's why they call it a root canal. Because what they go in there and do is that they take the roots out, which is the nerves.
That's right. That's right.
Because it's connected. It's all connected. See, that's what the nervous system shows you. That's what a tooth infection shows you. It shows you whether you want to believe it or not, whether you want to sit here and talk about it or not, whether you want to deal with it or not, it's still all connected. It's connected. Just like the man of God said, it's connected.
Yes.
It really is. And once you realize that, I promise you, you're going to feel a whole lot better once they do that root canal. You're going to be like, wow, I ain't got to take these pills no more.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can throw these pills away. I can throw all this other stuff away that I've been trying to get into to stop the pain. But the reality of it is, once I really got this root canal, you know, if you don't get that root canal, really, I promise you, a toothache will mess you up.
What? Yeah. Abscess and all.
I mean, it has stuff swelling up in your mouth. You looking like, is that me? I mean, one day, listen, can I tell you? One day, my face swole up. I'm like, a toothache do that?
Yeah.
That ain't the toothache. That's the infection.
Yeah. It'll kill you.
And I'm like, one eye open, one eye closed, and the reality of it, it was an infection.
Yeah.
You want to really know in your life what's going on. I'm telling you, whether you're a kid or whether you're an adult, you got to see why you're being infected, why this thing is happening, why you talking like this way, why you looking like this way, why you operating like this way. This goes for everybody. You're going to have to at one day, because it's going to spill off into everything. It really is. Just like the man of God said, you got a billionaire in you, but a lot of billionaires are dead in the grave. In the grave, there's some of the most powerful people. In the grave, powerful people. Why? Because they didn't deal with the infection. They didn't bring out the billionaire. A seed, if you ever look at a seed, you know, you buy seeds. And you say, well, you know, I want a watermelon. You say, I want a watermelon. So you go get a pack of seeds that has a picture of a watermelon on there. And just because you don't plant the seed, water the seed, does it mean that seed is not a watermelon? It still is.
That's good.
It still is a watermelon.
Yeah, that's good.
It still is a watermelon. If you never plant it, it don't matter. It still is a watermelon.
To produce.
You don't get it. It's still a watermelon. It didn't change because you didn't plant it. It didn't change whether you bought it or not. It don't matter. It's still a watermelon. See, that's the powerful thing about a seed.
Feed it to bird.
Everything is already in the seed. The whole tree is in the seed.
Ain't that something?
That tree didn't come out of the ground. That tree came through the ground.
Come on.
Yes.
And you got to realize everything is in you already. It's in you. But you got to come to the consciousness and say, you know what? I'm already that which was on the packaging, which I was placed in the earth realm for.
Come on.
Yeah, that's good. That's good. Come on, you preaching.
The ground only is there so you can come through it. You didn't come out of the ground. You came through the ground. And once you recognize that you already are what the packaging says you are, all you got to do is find you a ground. Sit in there. Sit in there. The billionaire's already in you. It's in you. The millionaire is in you. It's everything about life, your happiness, everything, your culture, your economy, it's in you. It ain't in somebody else.
Right. Come on.
And when you really catch that, when you really get that, see, most of the times when you go to a grove, if you've ever been to a grove, the apple tree is going to be with the apple trees. The orange tree is going to be with the orange trees. The strawberry is going to be with the strawberries. And very seldom will you find an apple tree in the middle of an orange tree and an orange tree in the middle of an apple tree. Why? Why? Why is that? You know, because that's not how it happens. That's not how it works. That's not how it operates. That's not how it functions.
Right.
Apples actually grow together. It comes together. It comes through the ground together. It does. But if you are hanging around oranges and you trying to become an apple, you got the problem.
Yeah.
Not the ground.
Yeah.
Not the ground. Not the ground. You got to understand, you know what? Everything is in me already. The pastor, the apostle, the prophet, the teacher, it's in me already.
Yeah.
So watch this.
Yes, God.
Fear is in you already.
Yeah.
Doubt is in. That devil ain't give you no doubt. He can't give you nothing. He ain't that powerful. Stop giving the devil credit for things that he ain't powerful enough to do. All these things are in us already. It all determines the ground. Because the Bible declares in Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John that when he broke down the parable, he said, okay, here's the breaking down of the parable. You are the seed. The sons of God are the seeds. They are the seeds. And when you recognize that you are a seed, stop blaming grandma, sister, nephew, niece, uncle, cousin, brother, and just find you a ground and come through it.
Jesus.
Come through that ground.
Yes, Lord. Yes, Lord.
The tree was never in the ground. The tree in the seed.
Yes.
That's why you can see some trees coming through the concrete. Concrete. Imagine being able to come through the most hardest, the most difficult circumstances in life. Why? Because it's already in you. Stop looking for something outside of you that's already in you. Everything is in you. If you want to sing, if you want to dance, it's in you trying the ground to come through.
Yeah.
Amen. Amen.
It's not magic. We coming up here and we want magic. A lot of us want magic. We really do. I promise you, if I didn't have to get up, if I could just do everything in my mind, bloop, 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 run my businesses in my mind, I wouldn't dare get up. But that's the ground God decided to birth out the tree of money.
Yeah.
Right.
Money do grow on a tree. I mean, when you look at it spiritually, you're going to recognize that when you start connecting the dots, when you start realizing that, wait a minute, this business, this job is a tree. How much I want to pull off this tree is up to me.
Oh, that's good.
See?
It's up to me. My job is to shift the perspective and the focus off of all this stuff outside of you so you can realize that this is a tree. It's all a tree. It's me. It's going to always be you.
Yes, God.
Now, you do got the devil, you got the imps, but my Bible tells me that he spoiled the principalities and the powers, and I believe my Bible made a public spectacle of them. He disarmed them. You ever been robbed by somebody that's disarmed?
Jesus. Knock him down.
That's the most foolish thing that it's like a baby coming up to you talking about I'm finna bully you. You gonna do what? You gonna make me feel what? I just can't believe this. It's not real.
Yeah.
And when you can see things in life like that, I promise you, everything will look just like that baby to you. I'm not seeing this out there. I'm seeing this there. But your mindset about it. People gonna bully you. That's okay. That's their insecurities, not yours. Don't ever make somebody insecurities about themselves. Yours. Be who you are. People like to laugh. Eventually, if you continue to vibrate at the level that you vibrate, you're going to bring in some real, authentic friends.
Yes.
Stop trying to worry about, I don't look like her, so I'm not going to have no friends like her. You don't want no friends like her. That tree, that bunch of trees is probably horrible. Vibrate at your own frequency. Be who God has called you to be. And those things are going to gravitate towards you automatically. We keep changing who we are so we can bring in some things that's not us.
Right.
And wondering why I gotta do my hair, wondering why I gotta do my nails, why I gotta look a certain way, why I gotta act a certain way. Why? Because you decided to become something that you weren't not meant to be.
Jesus.
I'm telling you, they're gonna laugh, they're gonna ridicule. That's their insecurities. They want everybody to look like them so that they can feel good about them being them.
Right, right. That's right. Right. Wow.
You got to get to the place where you elevate, where you say to yourself, you know what? I'm a billionaire.
Yeah.
Amen.
And ain't nothing that you say, nothing that you do is going to stop what God is doing.
Yes.
As long as the earth remains, there will always be seed, time, and harvest. That ain't got nothing to do with the 613 laws.
Right.
Nothing.
Right.
This is something that governs the world. This is something that governs you. As long as the earth part of you remains, there will always be seed, time, and harvest.
Yes, Lord.
This is the earth version of you. And as long as it remains, it will always stand to reason that you are in control. You are in charge. God is our leader. But guess what? He put you in charge.
Yes, amen, amen.
I promise you, woman of God, he is the leader. But he said, I put the earth here. And I put you here as a seed. So I'm giving you charge.
Wow.
You in charge of your life. You in charge of your growth. You in charge of your feelings. You in charge. The man of God, God told the man of God, he said, listen, he said, you in charge. Sin is knocking at your door. It's knocking at your door. I'm not going to magically jump down and stop sin from coming into your house.
Right.
I put you in charge. Either you're going to open the door, let the ridicule, let the craziness in, or you could be like, oh, no, you got the wrong address.
Amen.
Ask yourself, this stuff that's in me, is it at the right address or is it at the wrong address? And if you go deeper, you got to understand something really, really deep. Just like I said, as long as the earth remains, as long as you remain, you operate like the earth. How it operates above, it operates beneath. That's period, point blank. It doesn't matter how you feel about it, whether you're educated about it or not. The neural network operates just like the nebulous that's up there. Just like it. Coincidentally, when they took a picture out there and they took a picture in the mind, it looked exactly the same. It looked exactly the same. The cells inside of the body, the stars up there. The scientists, it messed them up. Because they saying, wait a minute, am I looking inside of a human body? Or am I looking at the galaxy? It threw them off. It really messed them up. Because they didn't realize that, wait a minute, they didn't realize that the same thing that is above is the same thing that is beneath. So when you're looking beneath, you're looking above. So when you're looking above, you're looking beneath. And once you get this, once you realize this, they're going to come into some things that all they're going to have to do is look inside the body, and they're going to realize that, oh, okay, they're going to start to understand some things. We already there as believers. If you the unlocked version of yourself, we already there as believers.
That's powerful.
But you're going to have to come into the unlocked version of yourself. While they taking telescopes and trying to see far off into the galaxy, far off out there, if they would just take a moment to look in I promise you, you will see some things inside of yourself that'll mess you up. This is why you never know what you can do until you get put in a situation that you have to do
Amen.
that.
Amen.
That's true.
Amen.
You never know.
Never know.
But when you get put in that situation, you say, I never do that. But you did it.
So true. So true.
But you did it. That's why it's so important to really come here every day, because this is the ground that you're going to come through.
Yeah.
It ain't magic. What it is that, here's what it really is. Subconsciously, God got to get this in your subconscious. Your conscious, you got it. You can shout, dance, scream, holler all you want to. Consciously, you got it. But your subconscious, on the other hand, tells you something differently.
Come on. That's good.
That's why the man of God say, I believe, but help my unbelief. What he was speaking about was his subconscious mind, who keeps him planted and rooted in the natural realm. See, your subconscious comes to you from the age of 1 to 7, whether you realize it or not. I don't care. You develop your subconscious from the age of 1 to 7. That's when you are in this mode that they call sleep. Walk, talk, and you walk. You learn to walk. You learn to talk. You know, you in this hypnosis state. Everything you believe in life is from a child, the mentality of a child. That's why the Bible said when I was a child, I thought, I act. But when I became a man, I put away those things I learned to grow as a child. I had to put those things away because there's some new things that's coming. That's why it's so important. The new things could be right there. Here's the deepest part. When you go, I don't even want to go that deep. But when you realize, when you wake up, your blessing has already been with you the whole time. But you got to wake up and realize it. You got to. And this is the ground that it comes through. It really is. And it's not magic. It's just developing that subconscious mind. It's just developing it. Your subconscious will tell you, man, that's crazy. That ain't going to happen. It has to tell you that. If somebody flies across the room right now, your subconscious is going to tell you there's some wires. No, it ain't no wires. It have to tell you that. It have to. It has to, because your subconscious is the mind that keeps you sane, so they won't lock your butt up. And that's the part where you say, help my unbelief, God. I know you can't heal me. I know people don't just get healed. I know this. That's why we got all these hospitals. They know it too. So help my unbelief. And that's what God works on when you come here. That's what He's working on. Your unbelief. You believe it, you know it, you see it. But you got to work on your unbelief. And that's why it's so important to understand that right now you could be at the bottom of your class, nobody, and God will transition that thing for you to be at the top of your class. And everybody secretly wants to be you. Secretly now. Secretly now. They secretly want to be you. They secretly want your peace. Why? Because you have allowed your subconscious mind to transition into something that happens in the spiritual realm. One more thing, then I'm going to be quiet. Even the scientists know, and I always connect the dots. Even the scientists know that what holds this realm together, this earth together, they know it's not visible. They know it's not visible. They know that, y'all. I promise you, they know. Why you think they got CERN in all these places? What they doing is, here's what they doing at CERN. Period, point blank, then I'm gonna sit my butt down. Here's what they doing at CERN. You know, I used to take computers apart when I was young. You know, the big old Apple boxes. I wanted to see how they work. So I take things apart. Because you have to work backwards and to see how it works forward. That's the only way. That's what I knew. That's what they taught us in school. That's what they taught us, to work a problem out. I really believe that when they taught that to us when we was kids. Generation X, work things out, problem solving. They ain't doing that today. Today they're giving you a calculator, let the computer do it. But that's what they do in CERN. They're pulling things apart to try to figure out what holds this world together. And what happens is when you start pulling things apart that hold this world together, how you gonna put it back together?
Yeah, you already know how it came together. Wow.
And that's what they're doing with that Hadron Collider. They're ripping the fabric. They're working backwards. And when you work backwards, you pull some stuff apart. And they realizing that, wait a minute, it's the invisible things that's holding this visible realm together. That's why you can speak something into existence, because it's invisible. That's holding this visible world together. They know that now. They really know that. We've been reading about that in our Bible for years. We didn't understand it at the level that we understand now, because they didn't have the technology to back that thing up. But now they got the technology to back up everything that Bible says. But they ain't gonna believe it because they don't want it. They still trying to figure out. They call it dark matter. We call it God. They call it dark matter. They don't want to call it God, because if they have to call it God, then they have to yield to this God. And while they are around here unraveling what we call God, they're bringing some things into this realm that ain't supposed to be here.
Supposed to be here.
They are. All the stuff that you see with your natural eyes, that's just how your mind perceives it. It has to perceive it. There you go. Your subconscious again. Your subconscious say that's a tornado. But if we take your subconscious out of your head and throw it to the side, you'll see that it's a demon.
Yeah.
Jesus.
Yep.
That's probably just a little bit. But when you rip the veil, some things. The only way things can manifest in this realm, it has to manifest in a way that your mind can perceive it. Your mind sees tornado, but in the spirit realm, that's a devil. That's a demon that they have allowed access to come through. That's why a lot of people sitting in asylums and they're crazy, because they're able to see the spirit of the thing.
And talk to them.
They forgot to put their subconscious back in their minds. And they can't help it.
They can't help it.
They just strap them down, make sure that they don't. And they know this. They got a bunch of people who can really see, who can really hear that we put out the church.
Yes.
It was our job to bring them that balance. It was our job to bring them that balance. It's always been the church's job to balance it out. But we don't even understand it ourselves. We don't realize that our subconscious is what keeps us stuck here. It keeps us locked in. We don't understand that kind of stuff. They don't preach in the pulpit. We preach about David, Elijah. But if you start reading Jeremiah and Ezekiel, actually just Ezekiel alone. Actually just Ezekiel alone. Now, I know theologically you can break that down. Hermeneutically, you can break that down. But when you start really reading it, you're like, what's this? Is he talking about aliens? What is he talking? I mean, wheels and wheels and... I mean, what is it? Imagine staying in that realm. That's why some people take DHT, or some people, they try to get into their pineal gland, because you know your pineal gland, it carries some of the chemicals necessary for you to be able to see the spirit. That's why these people do it. We're supposed to be the church, being able to explain these things and break these things down so people don't go crazy. So people don't get in the spirit realm and something else come out of the spirit realm through that spirit realm, and they can't handle it, and they stay. They in the spirit realm while their entity is in their body, locked in their body. So all they can do is lock them up.
Call them a danger to themselves.
But the whole point is is that you got to stay here.
Mm-hmm.
You got to. You have to. This is the ground that God created so you can come through it.
Yes.
You got to. You got to realize that what you see with your natural eyes, that's temporary. That is temporary. Always keep in your mind, this is temporary.
Mm-hmm.
I can't do this. That's okay. It's temporary. It will always be temporary. That's why there's a lot of millionaires, billionaires, people with cures of cancers right there in the grave. Because what they went through was temporary and they made it permanent. You make it permanent. You'll make it permanent. But listen, I love you in the Lord. Powerful word. Pressure points. You got to get rid of them. You got to check the root canal. Root canal. The root. Once you take that root out of there and take those nerves out of there, the thing that's connected you to the pain. The thing that's connecting you to the pain. See, I'm plain and simple. You may say pressure points, but I say the thing that's connecting you to the pain.
Come on. That's good.
Yeah.
That's good.
That pain may be here, but something is connecting you to the source of it.